What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Under 23 Road to Glory. In the video today, obviously, is international break, so not too much to talk about in the Under 23 Road to Glory. However, me and Cal will be dissecting and going through Sorare 2026, so stay tuned all the way to the end for this one. Remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's get on to it.
And let's see how people dealt with the international break.
Yeah, international break definitely looming large over the gallery, and a few people getting involved in the comments Premier League last week, and we do have some points to give away because, of course, me and Cal sort of said this in the past. Whenever there's not many people playing in the gallery, that is definitely the time to get involved in the comments Premier League because that's when there's definitely chances to win more points. So, with that being said, I think nearly everybody that commented on the last video managed to get points. And if they commented Anthony, which was Schmitter, Hoffreshy, and Calum, then you picked up 2 points, and 1 point for me and MDK, who commented Neko, and unfortunately for Mihai and Cal, Dennis did not play. And if you did comment, is it Lee Tae-suk, Cal?
Yes.
Yeah, Lee Tae-suk was the 3 point man that you wanted, but no one commented him, unfortunately. If you guys don't know how to get involved in the Comments Premier League, all you need to do is comment down below who you think is going to be the best performing player in our gallery. With that being said, we'll have a little look at the results then over the international break. And yeah, go on, Cal. I'll let you talk a little bit about what went on.
Well, obviously oversight on my behalf with Chris Brady. Totally forgot that they picked him for the international squad.
Mhm.
No idea why. There was plenty of other keepers that probably should have got that call up, but oh well.
Yeah.
So yeah, 0 points for him. Another DMP, and we'll go straight to the other DMP with Dennis. He's a young player. They played a rotated team, Bosnia, but of course, Dennis just isn't good enough to be a rotation player by the looks of it.
Mhm.
Um, so that was a bit unfortunate. But on the brighter side, Neko done okay, didn't do anything special. But Anthony and Lee Tae-suk with some really good scores there.
Yeah.
Um, Especially Lee Tae-suk, that is 46 AA that he
Mhm.
got in that game against Kuwait. And then Anthony obviously scoring for Portland was quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
done
think.
well there.
Yeah, I think it's so frustrating as well because we know, like, we pretty much realized that Brady wasn't gonna play like kind of like a day after deadline and pretty much when the video was already like recorded and set to be released, and we were like literally before we clicked publish on the video we were like, oh, we've had a stinker there. But hey, after so many episodes, we're gonna make a mistake eventually. So yeah, I mean, we have made not to say that we haven't made any mistakes, but yeah, that was definitely an oversight on me and Cal's behalf. Chris Brady being, I think he was the third choice keeper for USA, so yeah, bit of a nightmare. But it would have hurt a lot more if Dennis had played. So at least there's some I guess a bright point to the gloom. So usually in this point in the video we would show you guys the business and we'll throw you over to Cal, but honestly not much has happened, and obviously we'll get on to why that is later on in the video. But yeah, not much ins, not much outs. That's the nature of international break, and yeah, so we're just gonna gloss over the business for this week and go on to the lineups ahead of the weekend. So I'm going to show Cal's screen on video here because I unfortunately can't show them on Sorare Data anymore because Sorare Data is gone. But yeah, Cal is going to build the team on screen, and yeah, remember whilst we're building it, take notes for the comments Premier League. So go on in, Cal. Let's get into it, mate.
Yeah. Just prefacing this, you see there's a lot of numbers under these positions. A lot of these players aren't part of the series, so
Mhm.
we can gloss over them. So we've only got one choice in goal because we know for damn sure that Chris Brady ain't going anywhere near a field for the US. So we've got Sir Royce here, so hopefully he does something for us.
Mhm.
Um, And similar situation here. As you can see, we've only got two defenders. So I'll pick Huang just because he didn't play. Don't think he got picked for the internationals, so his nailed. Um, and then
Yeah,
we've only got the one option in midfield as well with Huang. But luckily, what looks like
double
the Cake's got a double game week,
double
so
game week. Yeah, yeah. I
absolutely
think.
love that.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. So, well, yeah. I guess but either Huang is a great pick for this game week because both double game weeks. Anthony at home against San Jose is not
Yep.
bad either.
And then it's just a toss up here with the two players we've got, which is either Pedro Vitti or Lee Tae-suk.
Yeah,
And in my eyes, simply because it's a double game week, you can't really overlook that. And Lee Tae-suk is just incredible right now.
yeah. The only, I guess,
He does shoot.
the only bad thing is potentially he might not play the first game because obviously he's been playing international, no?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
played. I think
maybe
he
like
actually played both.
yeah. So potentially travel, so might miss the first game. But I think even then, you
Yeah,
still probably favour Lee Tae-suk over Petrovic based on like recent scores and
yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much. If you guys want to get involved in the comments Premier League, then be sure to comment one of these five players or Petrovic if you want a sixth option. And yeah, of course, the best performer will be rewarded 3 points, and then second 2 points, and then for 1 point for the third performer. You going with Anthony Captain?
I'm thinking it. Yeah, it was
Oh
a toss
nah,
up between
not for me.
him and Huang.
That's my man. That's my man.
But I don't really like his home fixture
Who
playing
is
against
who's got first pick in
Sneers.
the Commons Premier League this week? Do you remember?
Uh, is it you?
I think so. I think so. No, I'm gonna go with Huang.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with
that's a tough
Huang
call.
J1 for me. I actually don't remember if it is me or you, but
I think
would
it
you
is
have
you
picked?
because I think I would have picked Anthony
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say so it doesn't matter too much. And yeah, for those of you guys that have been eagerly following along the comments Premier League, I think this might be the first time I've been ahead of you, Cal.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I actually think it is.
So I'm finally where I should be. I'm joking, but yeah, guys, we've got to catch up to Schmitter because he's pulled a I don't know how,
Yeah.
but he's pulled a 5 point lead on everyone. So everyone better, we all got to start cooking and try catch this man. I mean, me, MDK, and Mihai are all 5 points behind. So let's try and catch him. Remember to leave your comments on the video. Are you looking to become a Sorare manager? If so, I would really appreciate if you use the link down below in the description to sign up because you'll be helping out a small creator like myself, and also the benefit that you guys get from that is if you buy 5 cards from the auction house or the instant buy market, then you'll receive £50 in-game credits. So moving things on to our little side hustle in the MLS as always, San Diego, and they didn't play during the MLS sort of international sort of mix-up, but they did play a friendly match. So they didn't play an MLS, but they did play a friendly, and they won 3-0 against Club America. So that's always good. But we're going to throw over to Cal. Obviously, you can see his screen here, and he's going to build or talk us through the San Diego up and coming match. Who are they playing next? I can't remember.
They are playing Minnesota.
Ooh,
So
ooh,
let me just
okay.
toggle this.
That's a bit of a
Yeah,
tough game.
Minnesota are away.
Yeah, that's a bit of
Um,
a tough game. That.
yeah, I don't know how many players went on international duty from Minnesota.
Ooh, true. Good
I
point.
don't think it was a lot, but I could be wrong there. I don't know much
Yeah,
about their team in general, so
yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Trying to remind myself. Actually, I'm gonna have a quick look on my phone at Minnesota team because
Yeah,
I actually can't really remember either. I just know in my head they're decent. I can't remember the. Oh
yeah.
yeah, they got
Oh, they are.
Will Trapp, Robin Lod. Lod definitely plays for his country, Finland.
Yes, he did. He started,
Yeah,
so that's a big miss for them.
their striker is decent as well. I don't know what country played. Oh, Canada, maybe. Don't know if Canada played, did they?
I don't. I'm gonna assume so because it's
Because
the Gold Cup.
their goalkeeper also is. I'm pretty sure is the Canadian number one as well. Could be wrong.
Yeah, just
you carry on making, and I'll research.
yeah. So yeah, slightly different approach to this because of all the international breaks and stuff. So McVeigh actually comes in because I believe he didn't get picked. So that's at least someone that we've kept. The same with Yepi as well. But the attacks where it gets a little bit dicey. So Dreyer did actually play for Denmark, so I highly doubt he's gonna hop on a plane and play that game. So um, the natural second pick would have been Lozano, but
Mhm.
he did get injured. I believe I saw on a press conference that the manager doesn't believe it's as bad as his first injury, but it is still a possibility that he won't feature in this game.
Mhm.
So, because this is the first lineup, we kind of just need someone who's going to play, and the next pick is actually the main man from the friendly, Milan Iloski.
Mhm.
I believe he scored two against Club
Two.
America, so
Yeah.
perfect choice there. And then the well, the extra pick here is a player that I'm actually quite fond with. Um, he's really impressed me when he's played, and I'm hoping now that there's no under 21 or under 23 sort of competition in the Americas, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick Luca Bombino.
Please give him the armband. Please give him the armband. I just feel like
He
it's
deserves it.
yeah, yeah, he does, he does. He's been really good recently. But yeah, so I've done the research, and yeah, the Minnesota goalkeeper is number one and did play for Canada.
Yeah,
Um,
so
so yeah,
that's just gonna be a mess.
potentially, yeah. But the half the other, I'm getting mixed up with, I'm getting Minnesota mixed up with Vancouver, because like half the
Yeah,
Canadian team is from Vancouver.
yeah,
So whoever's playing Vancouver this week has they got a relatively easy game, which is Columbus. Oh yeah, Columbus City Eastern as well. So yeah, Columbus
yeah,
probably got a bit of an edge in that one, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, so that is I guess our MLS stuff. You can see on screen, and I will say as well, obviously we're recording this ahead of Predictify sort of lineups and that sort of stuff. So if Predictify comes out and says something, maybe gives us a bit more information on like Lozano, for example, then obviously we could change the teams a bit and maybe put Lozano in the first team. But like Cal said, we're sort of being cautious at the moment, and we're gonna put him in the second team. But yeah, if we see Predictify maybe has a bit more information, or or ourselves can find a bit more information on it, then obviously we'll change the team a little bit. But yeah, with that being said, for the final bit of the video today, me and Cal did want to sort of have a very raw and what should we call this part of the video, Cal? A Flynn and Melv podcast to end things off.
just sit down, chat.
Sit down and chat about Sorare 2026. And to be honest, me and you guys, for those of you guys that obviously know me and Cal and have watched previous episodes, me and Cal usually have very different opinions on things like this. But I think it's a good thing though to sort of just sit and just give almost like just different opinions, because I think ultimately, and then at the end of the day, when stuff like this comes out, everyone has their own opinion on what they think about it and things like that. So, yeah, pretty much me and Cal haven't really discussed this update yet. We're just going to do it on video and just see where each other's heads are at and what we're thinking. So, what I'm going to do, Cal, is I'm just going to sort of like scroll through the blog, mention something, and like I'll give my opinion, and then you can sort of say what you think about it. And because obviously there's going to be
Yeah,
bits that I'm not thinking about or I miss, and vice versa with you and things like that. So you cool with that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's
Cool,
do it.
cool, cool, cool. So I will say as well, I kind of like skim read it a little bit. I haven't went like too madly into detail about all of them, so this is probably a good thing as well for me to sort of refine my knowledge on the update and things like that. So I will kick things off by saying my general view and opinion of this is the same. And for those of you guys that have followed me since the start of my channel, I've always said the same thing pretty much even since then. When something changes, everybody hates it. And then it's just a matter of time to see if it's actually a good or bad thing. So, like, anytime they release anything new, everyone hates it. But then, if they still hate it in a month, then okay, it's actually valid. You should hate it. Like, it is a bad thing. But 9 times out of 10, people come around to it and they think it's a good idea. For example, I mean, literally, it literally has been happening all year. Like, hot streaks, people didn't like it. The arena, people didn't like it. Common game mode, people don't like it, and now people like it. So, yeah, I will say generally speaking, whenever something like this comes out, people are just naturally going to hate on it. So that is my general opinion. Like I said, I haven't went too much into it just yet, which we're going to do right now. But going into it, that's my thought process. I'm happy for it to change as we go on. But yeah, general consensus is that I don't usually hate things until I've actually played it and experienced it myself. So, which is obviously going to be impossible to do until we are in Sorare 26. So, yeah, the blog kicks things off by saying the competition structure and talking about how it's going to change. But I don't know about you, Cal, but I'm pretty sure we've been preaching this on the channel for the longest time that Sorare always trying to go in the direction of league specific competitions rather than champion, challenger, and contender, right?
Yes, well, mainly for the whole
Hmm.
champion side. I think champion, as soon as they brought in Premier League and Bundesliga, champion was a
Yeah.
dead comp.
Yeah.
I know some people might disagree with that,
No, I
but
agree. I agree.
realistically, you've taken 60% of like the pool of players and put them into their own league specific. So you've just got any leftovers plus the Italian and the French league. So that was always going to disappear.
Yeah.
Um, Hopefully, fingers crossed, they are the two leagues that are being rumored to come.
It probably will, won't
But
it? Probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the only thing that I was surprised with was the challenger.
Yeah.
Again, the main takeaway I've got from this, which is the bit that I'm most frustrated with, is just the lack of information into this.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm just
think
gonna,
I was gonna say I totally agree with that. I think that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest thing. Definitely talking point with the competition structure is like I think it was quite like obviously well from my perspective anyway. I was of the opinion this was always going to happen. So, but yeah, I think what you were about to say there about like people almost panicking without any information
yeah,
is probably going to be the biggest thing here, where people are like, yeah, they don't know what's happening with challenger and contender. And I will say that like it's been going in this direction, guys. So I mean, if you didn't see this coming, then yeah, don't know what to tell you. But anyway, moving on to the next part of the blog then, and I think again this to me anyway this one was fairly obvious. Hot streaks being added to European competition. I think that yeah, again another one that was like hitting you in the face. I don't think they really need to tell us this. Like we knew this was going to happen, right? Because obviously that's a big selling point as to why loads of people played MLS. So it makes sense just to add it to the new to European comps. Do you know the thing I did find interesting with this? The only thing that I was surprised with, Cal,
yeah, it's the
is
same as me.
yeah the classic card, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
makes no
because
sense.
it doesn't make any sense because I mean, well, it's good for us, but from a business perspective, they would, well, that's what helped them sell in season cards is by the hot streaks being 5 in seasons. And I've sort of preached again. Like, I'm happy to admit when I'm surprised or wrong, but that is the first thing that made me well that's the first thing that I read in this blog that made me think I was wrong or surprised is because I've been preaching all year again that they're catering to this whole like 5 in seasons pushing towards us paying more pretty much to play the competition or to play so rare. And yeah, they've kind of gone almost back on themselves here with adding a classic card, which I'm not complaining about. I'm happy with that. So yeah, I mean, initially my thought or my head is quite happy with this start to the blog, because it's like, you know, stuff we already knew with competition. I think that the negative side to the competition stuff is just people making up in their heads what information that isn't there, which I will say is sort of probably both parties' fault. Like, so rare because they could be more transparent with what's going on, and people's for just jumping on conclusions. You know what I mean? So without any information. But yeah, hot streak stuff. Not too much to talk about really. Just kind of what we expected. Cal, do you have anything to touch upon with that?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much what you've gone over. It's just the classic card's just a
Hmm.
bit bizarre.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
but
mean,
yeah, as you said,
yeah.
not really gonna be a negative for most people. I mean, the whole hot streaks system is a benefit to everyone. It doesn't take away from whatever you're doing. Like if you're gonna play in season, this is just an added bonus. So it's this is a good addition. I'm like this
Hmm.
is one thing that people can be quite happy about.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
and if anyone's angry at that, then there's no hope.
yeah, I think
There's no hope for them.
if you've got to this point in the blog and you're angry, I think you're asking to be angry at this point. Like, there's not really anything to suggest to be angry. So, moving on forwards then to lineup building bonuses, and I think this one is interesting and something I didn't expect, but at the same time. I'm going to sort of say 2 points on this, and then I'm going to let Cal give his opinion. But first of all, well, I guess it's a positive and a negative thing. First of all, I think Sorare keep the main point is Sorare keep moving the goalpost, right? Like changing what it is to win on Sorare, which I don't think people should be surprised at, because I mean, I've only been on the platform for about a year or so now, and it just seems to be constantly changing in terms of what it is to be winning on Sorare. So I'm not surprised by it per se, but I am I don't know what the right word is, but I will say that generally speaking, in games, not just So Rare, the meta changes quite a lot, right? So, and I think maybe So Rare is thinking, how can we manipulate the game to be different? So I'm guessing what has happened here is So Rare's sort of seen everybody that's winning, and let's just say they've got obviously they'll have access to numbers that we just don't have. So let's just say they look at their graphs and they see 80% of our prizes this year was won by people having a stack from one team, which wouldn't be that wouldn't that's them statistics wouldn't be surprising to me, because that was definitely probably the best meta for this year on Sorare. As I've shown, with my Newcastle stack, and I'm sure other people have yielded quite a lot with one team stacks. Even the San Diego boys doing pretty well. But yeah, so I guess this is their attempt to change the meta and make things a bit different. And again, it's nearly impossible for anyone to judge if this is a good or bad thing, because we haven't played it yet. So for those of you guys that don't know what's happening, pretty much you get a bonus if you have an under 260 cap, L15 that is, and you get if you have two players from the same team, that's okay. But if you have three, no, sorry, if you have two players from the same team, you get a bonus like max. But if you have three, then you don't get the bonus. So yeah, pretty much it's just, I guess, trying to incentivize people not to stack teams. Um, I guess that would encourage more winners, which I think ultimately that's what I'm a big takeaway point from this update for me is that um, Sorare are maybe trying to produce more people to win, maybe spreading the rewards out more. So yeah, go on then, Cal. What do you think?
Um, I'm gonna preach it. The lack of information is like why have they
True.
just put earn a percentage bonus? They know in their
Yeah.
heads it's going to be between these two numbers. Put them two numbers, because if this is like, oh, the cap bonus, you get 5% if they're under 260.
Yeah.
That is so like minuscule.
But I think,
that it's not really going to make a difference.
and I also think no matter what number they put, it's almost certainly going to change anyway. So just put that
Oh, it
information and
has to.
say
It has to.
subject to change. Like like I said, it's well, sort of the overriding point is it is impossible for us to tell if this is good until we play it.
Yeah,
So yeah.
exactly that. And the multi-team bonus, I quite like it.
Mm,
Again, the same with the cat bonus. I just don't know if this is going to be relevant
yeah.
in any time. So
True.
I'm interested to see what they'll do. I would be much like more inclined, just like spitballing it out here. Let's say, oh, if it's a 260 cap, any like point below that cap is how many percentage you get. So if you do a 200 cap team, you get a 60% bonus or something. Fine, make it fun,
Mm,
but it really does depend on what they put these bonuses on. Because we might just see the same thing again, and this just doesn't work. And all
yeah.
it needs is some fine tuning. But we'll see if
Yeah.
they do that.
I think yeah. I think again there's positives and negatives to even the point that you raised there because for example
Oh yeah,
if you have Sven Botman that's been out with an ACL, he's on a zero L15, you know what I mean. So then
yeah,
it's
exactly that.
it's always I mean boils down to the main point that I said before we even opened up this podcasty section that yeah, maybe just a lack of information, or like they could give us a general idea on how it will work, and then obviously just put a little disclaimer there, like we're thinking this probably will change, but rough number. And again, I think it just ties in, yeah, like we previously said about maybe a little bit of a lack of information. So yeah, but again, we got to this point in the blog, and I don't think it's too bad to be honest with you. Some good
No,
things, some bad things. I mean, the meta is always going to change, so I don't think people could be too upset with that. Um, yeah,
this is the next big change. I don't know
go
because
on.
it's not
I'll
a
let you go
massive
for it.
thing. Yeah, it's because it's slightly below that one, but they've not made it its own like big thing. But this is huge.
hmm
The scoring matrix for goalkeepers is mental. You don't get a negative decisive for conceding free.
Yep.
That is
Which,
huge.
yeah, which we've been, well, as I have definitely been preaching for a while. So,
Well,
um,
just look at our boy Noel. Noel
yeah,
wouldn't have had like a L15 of about 20. It would be like 55, 60. Which
exactly.
all of a sudden he's a good keeper then.
Yeah,
So this this is a good change, and I think, well, I don't think they've mentioned, which I really hate, is the whole missing a penalty and scoring a penalty thing.
yeah,
If you miss a
true.
penalty, you don't get a negative decisive, but if you score it, you get one. So
Mm,
it's a 50-50. Like the odds are, I think the XG is at like a point 0.8 or 80, sorry, 0.80 XG for scoring a pen. If you miss it, that's a negative decisive in my eyes.
yeah,
So, but
yeah,
I'm happy with this. This
yeah,
is a massive change and very needed.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I will say that. To be honest, do you know what, Brit? Like maybe it's just maybe I don't know. I don't know how well I vocalized my opinions on certain things on video. If that makes sense, I can only sit here and say, um, of course, or something we've mentioned, and hope that I did mention it in a video. But so far, getting to this point in the blog, I feel like they really have listened to the community or me even, because a lot of these things we have sort of preached in videos and things like that, Cal. So yeah, at this point in the blog, again, I'm quite happy because I feel like they've listened to. I mean, maybe the meta stuff is not really something we've mentioned, but yeah, I'm sure there's been people on, it's not just us that play so rare. I'm sure there's people that probably hate people that are stacking from one team. So, yeah, so far, in my opinion, it's pretty good. So, moving on to, yeah, I guess the this is I guess the first big talking point that people want to scrutinize Sorare for, and that would be just everything to do with classic cards. So essentially, what I've took from this cow again, I could be wrong, but what I've taken from it is they're essentially nuking all classic comps, and then making it only all star under 23 and champion SO7. Is that correct, Cal? Have I got that right?
Yes, yes, that
Yep.
is, yeah.
So
Which is the big problem.
yeah, so I already so for those of you guys that don't know, at the start of the year I did have a meeting with Sorare, and they did suggest something of ilk like this to me, and I did say to them the exact I literally said exactly what the community is saying now, and I said to them as soon as you add more players, as soon as you add more players to play a competition, people are not going to be happy because that means they have to spend more money to play. And that is literally the general like that's why people didn't like streaks to start off with, because you have to pay more money to play. It's the same thing with this, like people are going to always, no matter what, like people are just going to hate it straight away. You could literally the thing is we just don't know because we don't know what the prizes are. Like people could say they hate this right now, but if it comes out and it's like double the rewards what classic was this year, then obviously no one's going to everyone's going to be like, yeah, fair play. So that's why I like don't like to jump to conclusion with things like this, because I'm like it's literally impossible for us to hate it. We can obviously we can sort of sit here and say in our heads, oh okay, not the best idea, but until more information comes out, and I think that is the overriding point in this whole segment, is that without more information, we just can't really give a definitive we do or don't like it, because obviously in here it's saying about prizes and things like that, but if they come, like I said, if they come out and say, oh yeah, it's SO7 but it's double the prize pool, then I don't think many people are going to hate it. But yeah, go on then, Cal. Yeah, far away, mate.
Yeah, I mean the rewards is going to be huge. They've gotten rid of 6 classic comps, which is massive considering we're left with 3.
Mhm.
Because there's no league specific classic. MLS classics going at the end of the year,
Yep.
and the main 2 challenger and contender massive. I'm not actually mad with an SO7, but the only thing I would say is that I was still expecting SO5 as well. I thought it would be like a separate thing. But yeah, I agree that people dislike this.
Yep.
But I guess Sora's like thought process is, oh, we're gonna lower the amount of comps so people don't have to spend because they've already got the players.
Yep.
But what they like, I'm guessing they like an oversight or something. So people might have a full challenger gallery, and now they've just got to go into All Star,
Yep.
which is just a wildly different competition.
True.
But as I said, they've gotten rid of 6 comps and left us with 3. So in theory,
Double the.
the rewards for each of these won't just be doubled; they
Yeah.
should, in theory, be tripled.
Yeah.
So if that is not the case, then
Then
we've
yeah.
got a problem.
Exactly, exactly, and I think that's my overriding point as well. I don't want people to sit here and think I'm like trying to back up or anything. I'm literally just being, just putting my logical head on here, no emotions attached. I'm just logically saying, essentially what Cal has said there. Like, it is so hard for us to sit here and hate something that we don't know all the information about, and that is just that is the be all and end all of it. And people, can people. I've seen even people crying about the fact on Twitter. I've seen people crying about the fact that it's SO7, so I can get more DMPs. Yay! Well, I mean that's part of the skill of Sorare, in my opinion. Like, so yeah, I think look, there's whenever you change things, like I said, there's going to be people that love it. There's going to be people that hate it. And generally speaking, personally, I really like it. Of course, I can see why people don't like it because, like Cal said, pretty much if you have contender and challenger cards, it's a bit rough for you. Um, but just buy champion cards, man. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. But yeah, no, I get it. I think another big point would be the fact that I think most people want or like to hope. I think hope's the one that will kill you. But I think people like to hope that So Rare are going what's the right word, expanding to like, so say for example me, I hope that So Rare one day would have Cambridge players on it, but realistically I know that that's not, they're just not going in that direction right now. So, and I just don't see that happening in the foreseeable future. So in my mind, it makes sense. Well, again, this is maybe just me not vocalizing it enough, but in my mind, when they say they're getting rid of contender and challenger, in my mind, it was already going in that direction anyway. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit less surprised
Yeah,
by it. Maybe I don't know, but yeah,
yeah.
maybe that's. I reckon if I wasn't a Cambridge fan, this probably would have like completely taken me by shock, and I'd probably be like, you know what I mean? But because I've already thought about it and I thought, oh, what's the likelihood of, Cambridge being on so rare? And then I've realised it's not going to happen. Yeah, maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
The
yeah,
one thing I have just read though, because obviously I didn't read the full thing when it came out,
yeah.
is that they're getting rid of cash prizes in Classic.
Oh,
Which I
okay.
don't think many of them had. Was it just
Nah,
Division One in the comps?
yeah, I think it was like I think you pretty much had to
Top
win the
three in
comp.
Div One.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
But that is
Hmm.
gone. But they have said
Oh
that
yeah.
they're going to
So,
add different rewards.
yeah.
But that's
It still could be good because it could just be like
yeah,
they could just give you like 500 essence or something, which is essentially just a star player.
that
So yeah,
well, well, it was.
yeah,
That's further on in the blog, I
yep,
think. I can't
yep.
remember.
So moving on then. Yeah. So again, like impossible for us to really um, dissect every single point because we don't know the prize pool ultimately. So if we don't know what we're competing for, it's really hard for us to then say how is this the requirements to win this because we don't know what this is. So yeah, I mean obviously if it's an SO7 to win, you know. Two essence, then we're going to be fuming. But if it's an SO7 to win 2000 essence, then we're going to be buzzing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to arena again. I'm pretty much just gonna breeze past this cow because I think we all knew it's gonna
Yeah, it's
happen.
pointless. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about arena. Arena's great, well done, so rare. I mean, obvious that you're gonna make it full time because it's a fantastic game mode. And I did sort of say when arena was out, essentially this is the classic card replay. Well, in my eyes, this is where I'm going to put my classic cards. I mean, you guys can do what you want with them, but I'm going for them arenas and essence. Hopefully, I mean, obviously depends what the classic prize pool is, but that in my eyes, that's where my classics were going next season anyway. So, yeah. Moving on to the ceiling for boosted rewards. Then, Cal, have you read into this one much or?
I read into it a bit with the MLB stuff, and
Mhm.
I believe it's very similar. I don't think they changed a lot.
Mhm.
The issue I have with this
Mhm.
is well, there's two. One, once you've sealed it, that's it. You can't do anything else with that card. It's
Gone.
gone
Yeah.
virtually. So if you wanted to sell it later on, you can't. So you've got to be confident with what you're putting
See,
in.
I think this is 100% a user splitter in terms of opinion because for me this is like absolutely buzzing because if I could make all my Newcastle cards right now sealed happy days. I'm never going to sell any of them, so if I can get anything for like if I can get anything XP wise for doing that, I would happily do that. So for me this is like godsend. Like I'm so happy with this, but I'm assuming a lot of users like you, Cal, probably thinking like this is not that you're like you saying like oh you thinking more about selling and stuff because obviously you've had a lot of cards in and out of your gallery this season, whereas mine has been a little bit different to yours in the sense that I've had my core has stayed in the gallery the whole season. You know what I mean?
The I think the one thing that I was shocked with is that you can't put them into comps. You still just can't use them at all.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
Wait.
once
So
sealed, these cards become untouchable. They can't be sold, traded, or
oh
used in competitions.
again
That last bit is the problem.
again this yeah I didn't read that, but again this still could have been used for me because like players like Quoll and stuff at Newcastle
Oh, I
that
was going to say craft. So
yeah, even Craft, like players like that. So okay, I didn't know that part, but yeah, still a lot of players would be sealed for me right now. So like Matt
my
Ritchie and stuff
question
like
with
that, just get them
yeah,
sealed.
my question with that as well then
Mhm.
is if you've got like a full collection. I've got the San Diego, you've got the Newcastle. If I seal a card,
Mm.
does that take them out of that collection? So I've then got to rebuy it to put it in that collection again.
Yeah, don't know. Don't know.
Again, it's just these are the. It's almost like having a live Q&A sort of thing would have helped with
True.
a little bit of this. It might be put somewhere, but I can't see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think this
yeah,
the ceiling stuff. Perhaps maybe someone that's watching this video that knows about Sorare MLB can help us out a little bit with this regard. But um, yeah, we're not too sure on how the ceiling stuff works. But I think again, I think either way, no matter how it works, I think it will divide. It will still divide the same way. Like the people like me that like to just have a collection in my gallery forever will like it, but then galleries like yours, Cal, that a bit more in and out, probably won't really see the point in it. So I think that's just probably the overriding point for that one. I don't know if you agree with that, but yeah.
yeah, and I mean I've
Mm.
just read at the bottom here the a problem that I had was once they're sealed, they're sealed. It looks like they've already thought about that, and in the future they'll tell us how to unseal them. I'm guessing it'll be a penalty of some sort, whether that be cash, essence, or another credit or whatever they throw into the game. But yeah, I mean for the most part, it probably won't affect me at all. It might not affect a lot of people.
Yeah,
It's just an added thing. But I believe it gives you added bonuses for your lineups, which
yeah,
or your like your leaderboard thing, which is a little bit odd.
yeah,
But I guess they have to do something. I thought it would have just been, oh, for argument's sake, you're getting 10 essence, but you've got this, which will give you like an extra 10%, so you actually get 11 essence
yeah,
instead of like boosting your your score. Uh, but I could be misinterpreting that, so don't
yeah.
take that
We'll see. We'll see.
with gospel. Yeah,
Yep. Then the next part talks about multi-entry, so just confirming that there will be free. You can enter free lineups in each competition. However, there's a way to unlock a fourth entry now, which is quite interesting. And yeah, like it says, full details in July. So we'll wait to see with that one. But I think that's yeah. I mean, I don't hate that, so kind of cool.
yeah,
But again, kind of hard. We'll see how cool that is come July because we can't really comment on that one. Um, yeah, then missions. Okay, so this one is a very much needed thing in So Rare from a business perspective, not so much from a user that has been on the platform for a while. Maybe some people that are less business minded might not understand this one, but pretty much what they're doing with missions and daily stuff is to get more people on the platform on a daily basis, and the reason they'll be doing this is because they would have lost a lot of people that come onto the game daily when they took away rivals. So to be honest, I think this one is kind of going hand in hand with a transitional phase between losing rivals and needing people on the platform every day. And of course, it goes without saying, guys, if you're on the platform, you're more likely to buy things. So, from a business perspective, they just want people to be on the platform as much as they can. Hence, why they'll be adding things like this, daily missions and daily guides and daily thing, anything daily. This is why games in general, you see this in literally every game ever. There'll be daily, Call of Duty daily missions. FIFA will have daily mission. It's just pretty much trying to get people on the platform, on the game, because then that will entice you to just spend more or just pretty much just be social on the game, if that makes sense. Even if you're tweeting about the game, that's a good thing from a business perspective. So yeah, won't touch too much upon that, Cal, unless you have something to
no,
say. Yeah, I think it's just
I mean
very
it's
generic
good for
business.
everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just a business, simple business sort of stuff there, guys. And same with this stuff here. They talk about manager of the month, and again, it's all just to do with social media. Again, no one loses here. It's not like they're doing anything. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, this is super. I'm not trying to say it's snaky or anything like that. It's literally just simple business moves that is good for any brand or business. It doesn't really take it doesn't take a genius to work out why they do stuff like this, because it's good for us because we have an opportunity to win more. It's good for them because they get more people talking about their platform and their business. So yeah, um, which is good because I did sort of way a long time ago. I think this was near the start of the season. I think I was saying about spending less money on, I guess, paying, spending less money on what was it like? I think it was the Zidane promo. I talked about it. Spend less
Yeah.
money on Zidane and more money on us, or something like that, in terms of promo. So we'll take it. But yeah, um, then moving on to the special events. Have you read much about this one, Cal?
Yeah, I actually think this is a good move, but in like a weird way. I didn't like seeing, oh, this is what's coming.
Hmm.
Like as it says here, the surprise like factor, that is a good thing because you want people to be excited with like, oh, what's coming now? Whether or not it's a comp you enjoy, you're still going to be intrigued by it.
Hmm.
And this helps the market because player prices will just jump up randomly. You might have a player that's perfect for a comp, brilliant. I can sell them and buy them back after.
Hmm.
And this benefits people that play casually. This will probably, like I said, with the whole like player prices goes up, it might hurt the, I say hardcore, but the whales of Sorare who have just loads of money to
Yeah.
buy into these special comps each week. It might be a little bit more expensive for them, but for the majority of people, this is cool.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. 100%. And then yeah, so moving on to the next part then. Well, so generally speaking here, I guess this is when we talk more about I guess the way that Sorare is going, and you can see here it says to give you a full picture of the 26 gameplay specifically for limited and rare, and I think this is very important to note because it just has been going this way on Sorare for a while. I don't think it takes a genius to see that limited and rare are definitely the scarcities that Sorare are going to try and push towards and push that narrative of playing. I think limited and rare are probably the two that they almost like care the most about, to be honest, especially as we go on to this vlog, or further on in this blog, sorry. And yeah, so it talks about as well essence and things like that, and yeah, I think this is where did you talk about a little bit about this earlier, or did we not talk about this? I can't remember
Well,
now.
I said that the whole essence thing's changing.
Yeah,
Um, it's so from what I can see, again, with the limited information they give,
yeah,
it the best way I can compare this to is for anyone who's like played FIFA and you get player picks,
yeah.
it's like that, but you don't see what
See,
player you're getting
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
unless you spend extra. I think it's extra essence. It again, I'm not entirely sure. It might be, oh, you put in 20 essence here, for a tier 5 or 40 for a tier 4 or whatever,
yeah.
um, or
Well,
50, whatever it is.
it says use essence to reveal characteristics of the card before you pick, like their leagues and nationalities.
Yeah, but
So
yeah, it doesn't say. Is this
how
essence
much
thing? Is it going to
essence?
be 20
Yeah,
again
exactly.
as
Yeah,
like a flat thing? Because I don't think the problem people had with essence was, I believe it was tied to value of cards. I could be wrong there, but it definitely is the case in like the NBA for like the common card rewards. Like a tier 1 could be someone who doesn't play, but
yeah,
their limited cards worth a lot because they're a rookie or something
yeah,
stupid. Um, so you could get a. I think I saw a photo actually. Someone got a tier 1 super rare,
yeah,
and it was a DNP from Inter Miami.
yeah. You see that on things like that on Twitter all the time. So
And
yeah,
and I agree that that should a tier 1 should be. like a top player. It should be a regular starter,
Hmm.
which they've already got in the game. Like you can see that if you click on a player,
Yeah.
and that should there shouldn't be. Oh, I can get
Well,
a
yeah,
card that's worth nothing who doesn't play, so it's literally pointless to me. You
yeah.
expect that in the tier 5 and tier 4
I think
because that's
the
just what they are.
Yeah, I think the issue with that is well, again, from a business perspective, they've obviously sat down and said, or they've set up some sort of computer system or AI or whatever it is to say if they're below this amount, they're in this category and stuff like that. Whereas us as actual players, we know what is or isn't in theory a tier 5 and a tier 1. Whereas sometimes the computer obviously can't process, what should or shouldn't be a tier 1 based on the metrics that it's given. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess just a new approach to try and make it a bit better. And obviously, we'll see come July how it works with that. So moving on to the last thing, and this is going to be the reason why there's so much negativity surrounding this blog, and that is because they're essentially. Look, I'm not going to go into it too much because ultimately I am never going to play super rare and I'm never going to play unique. Therefore, I don't care, to be honest with you guys. But I will say at the start of last season, everyone cried because they killed super rare. Do we all agree? Yes. At the start of this season, it looks like they're killing unique. Everyone's gonna cry. You know what I mean? So look, I'm not trying to be I do empathise with people that have bought uniques and they're getting screwed over here and yada yada yada. I'll just be honest with you. I'm just not the person to sit here and talk to you guys about this because, like I said, it just has no impact on me whatsoever. Therefore, I'm just sort of like, what can you do? Well, I can't do anything, so you know what I mean. Like, it's just a bit rough. But yeah, long story short, I think they're pretty much cooking unique, because they're making unique in the same comp as super rare, and pretty much people that paid for unique cards could have just paid for super rare cards, making their gallery worth like 30 times less or something like that. So yeah, pretty much the whales, the people like Pranksy, the people that are going to be most vocal about it are obviously hurting right now because their gallery has just, substantially been, taken a massive hit. And it's never a good look for a business to do stuff like this to users. And they've pretty much have done this nearly 3 times now because obviously at first initially they done it with classic cards. They cooked that last year. They've cooked super rare last year, and now they're cooking unique. And I mean they're kind of cooking classic a little bit, but again, it's quite hard for us to sit here and yeah, we don't know because prize pools and stuff hasn't been um, announced. But yeah, rough one, Cal. I'm sure you've seen a lot of this on Twitter and stuff as well.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that.
Mhm.
The
It's a bit
the
rough.
problem I've got is, well, not a problem. The thing that I can't understand, like with a lot of the anger about unique, again, not played it, never will because
Yeah.
it's just too much money for me.
Yeah.
But I've looked at some of the weeks that Pranksy's played because I'm like, oh, I want to see how he's doing with his gallery, like what he's picking and all that. Obviously, it's just going to be the best players
Yeah.
going, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he finished first. How many people were in that division?
Yeah.
Four.
Exactly.
So
That.
that
Yeah.
comp is
Yeah.
pointless.
Yeah. Yeah. That is. I think that's why I have so little like care about it as well because I'm in the exact same, like pretty much what you're saying there. I just don't. How is that? Like, I guess from his perspective, he invested in. I guess he's invested in that to win a comp
Oh yeah,
that he knows he's gonna
definitely.
win. But surely that's just so boring. I mean, I don't know because I don't own any of them, but surely that's so boring. Like, and yeah, I just think pretty much from the whales that actually have uniques, they're going to be the most vocal about it. Pretty much, yeah, just rough for you lot. But for managers like me and Cal, we're kind of sitting here just sort of like, well, obviously it's going to like duh, you know what I mean? Because it's like you're all competing for. Well, no one's competing with you. No one's competing with you because we just know that you have multiple people invested into the same account and have way more money than everyone else. So it's just like, obviously you're gonna win the unique comps. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think yeah, it's just one of them guys. Just L for Pranksy and any other unique managers. Sorry if I didn't mention you and your unique manager, but yeah, rough one. You know, rest in peace to you lot, and rest in peace as well. They do talk about Sorare data here, um, and yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do with um, coping without Sorare data, because I think to me that is like, look, loads of people are vocal about all the things that Sorare are doing wrong, yada yada yada. People are crying left, right, front, and center about everything, and hence why a lot of people are, you know, saying they're going to leave the site and retiring and yada 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 from Sorare. But for me, I genuinely don't mind any of it except the Sorare data is the only one that I've been like, damn, that one's a little bit of a that one's a little bit rough, and I don't think it was the right business decision in my opinion. But of course, I don't have all the numbers and whatnot that they do. So yeah, I understand it, but I just don't think it was the right decision. Like, I understand why they done it as a business because they want more people on their platform, not someone else's. But at the same time, I just don't think it was the right decision. So yeah, obviously we'll see how they clearly have, because they've taken that tool away from us now. They clearly have to go on and improve and make their site better. So hopefully that's what it does. Hopefully now that Surrey Data's gone, they're gonna look and be like, okay, our site needs to level up now because that platform's not there anymore. So yeah. Final thoughts, Cal?
Well, yeah, I'll say a little bit on the Sorare data thing as well. I mean, there's a reason that people were going off their platform
Yeah.
onto another one, which is about their platform. Like it's it's obvious to every consumer. It's obvious as to why we were on Sorare data quite a lot, and probably for most people a lot more on that than Sorare itself.
Mhm.
So in my eyes, Sorare just needs to look at that and be like, cool, what are the most used features on that app?
Yeah.
And just add them in.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're doing similar. Not a lot here with the lineups, which is a
Yeah.
bit interesting.
So do
But
you know what? It kind of makes me feel like I kind of feel personally attacked with that one as well. You know, I can't lie. Like, is it maybe they're just not
yeah,
happy with me doing lineup building streams, guys? Because yeah, I feel personally attacked here. They're pretty much saying, "Don't worry, guys, we're going to bring back all the features to Zora Data except from lineup building because we hate that fling guy." You know what I mean? So yeah, I take that one personally. I hear you, Zora. Hey, look, you got me. I'm not doing it anymore. Relax. So yeah, look, if you have to buy
yeah,
out a whole company just to stop me, then fair play. You know what I mean? You could have just
yeah,
DM'd me and told me to stop, but I'm joking. But yeah,
yeah.
anyway,
But
yeah, go on. I'll let you round off.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say for the most part of this, and I kind of want to just echo it again. Is we need to wait for more information. If they provide exactly what they're doing, and we can see problems, then okay, fine, get angry. But as they've put right at the bottom of this, that no one's going to have read because they would have got too angry further up somewhere. Um,
Hmm.
they they have said that they want people's feedback.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they take that on board, that's up to them. But we need to give them feedback. There's no point in saying I don't like this without saying
Yeah.
why.
Why? Yeah. Exactly.
You're just throwing an argument out there and just walking out the door.
Yep.
It's like if you want this site to be better, you need to give them the information to make it better.
100%.
They might not see everything that you see. That's why businesses are massive. They've got so many people deciding on one thing.
Yep.
You need perspective, and if they haven't got that, and the community does, but the community's not giving it to them, then what are they going to do? They're
True.
just seeing a load of people angry, and they're
Yep.
like, okay, what can we do? And not one person has said anything somewhat productive.
Yeah. I have
So
actually
if you are
like, well,
doing that,
I was gonna say, I with that being like, well, on your point there, I think so the initial day that this got released, I agree. Like I was saying what you were saying, everyone was just pretty much saying they hate it without giving constructive criticism. But yeah, I feel like today, and the couple of since it's the wind has blown over a little bit, I feel like there's been a little bit more tweets of people like actually giving some better feedback, and hopefully this flipping hour long episode of the under 23s, provides some more feedback for So Rare. We've sort of gone over our points there, me and Cal. Appreciate your time as well, Cal, because you probably didn't
Yes.
know it's going to take this long, but yeah.
Hey,
um,
it's good. It's
yeah.
all good. It's
Um,
nice just getting it all
yeah,
off
off
your
your
chest and
chest.
stuff.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, there you go. There you have it, boys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the Under 23 Road to Glory, and yeah, look forward to So Rare 2026.